What is great, good, and real? It is Sunday morning, and I am doing me, and I hope you're doing you too. In the vein of you are a priority, and as long as that's always true, then life's going to be as great as it can be for you. In any event, Sunday traditionally, as I began my evolution, and I think somewhat brought up in a Christian tradition of how things flow, Sunday's usually a rest day. It's a day to reflect, to consider where you might be at, why you might be where you're at, and what you might want to do to possibly change some things. In any event, Sunday for me now actually starts my week, but I do get into a heavy reflection period. And I think what I wanted to share, part of what I believe reflection is critical to your growth and your overall continued prioritization of self, is that clearly you want to reflect on what has happened over the course of the last week. And gradually you build these things out as you get more comfortable reflecting daily, you reflect weekly, you reflect monthly, you even reflect quarterly. I think it's just a good practice. But certainly on a week-to-week basis, we might gravitate towards what happened that we didn't necessarily want to happen or didn't like or would prefer not to experience again. And I try to categorize those into two kind of events. One is something that might have transpired that I didn't want to necessarily be involved in, that was outside of my control. And if it was, I kind of let that go because it's outside of my control. I take note of it to say if it does happen again or something like this happens again, because life is cyclical that way, maybe I'm better prepared to handle it next time. So I consider, all right, what I could control was my approach. So maybe my approach next time is different. Then I reflect on things that I might have done that I had control over that I would have preferred to have done differently. And I kind of filter through that across the spectrum of how I kind of measure myself, which would be physically, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually, and somewhat mentally, kind of sort of be grouped up into the intellectual possibly, and also the emotional, as we kind of put those things together. But as I do the reflecting, I consider, okay, as I moved across my intentions for the week, was there anything I did across any one of those levels I didn't like? I take those and I toss those out. I consider why I might not have liked it. Was it something new I tried? Was it something that I had been doing for a long time and is no longer be valuable and serving me? All these kind of scenarios I kind of play against what I think is worth me continuing to prioritize and what is no longer worth me prioritizing, particularly if it was something I didn't like. Then I even take the things that were positive and that I did like and that did have the outcome that I was expecting, and I still reconsider those. Is that the outcome I still want to see? If I continue moving in this direction physically, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, am I going to see continued growth? Did I plateau? Did I reach a ceiling? Is there no more room for growth there? And if there is, I got to toss that out too, because then I run into the possibility of repeating things for the sake of repeating things and assuming things will get better. And that's just not how I found that things work in the evolutionary process. So if there's anything I can offer you today on your Sunday when you're trying to get some R&R in, consider, if you can, if you would, or if you haven't yet, or going to where you are, how it falls into your priorities, what you can't control and how that impacted you, what you can control and how that impacted you, what's valuable, where's there room for both growth and for both eliminating extra bandwidth that you don't need, and then just keep doing you and always stay a priority. Stay rich.